It's really training the subconscious to look for these things and approach the day with gratitude and positivity, and to subconsciously be looking for love and bliss and positivity. Some of it does sound woo-woo, but I've had to come to grips with myself and the fact that you kind of just have to let go of that mentality and just see if it works. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Morning Takeaway, aka the Inside Influence podcast. I'm sitting here kind of feeling like I'm a chameleon. I'm just kind of reflecting on the fact that I put this shirt on and I'm thinking about the picture behind me, and I'm kind of feeling like a chameleon or a gecko or just like the camouflaged lizard in the woods. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of blending in. So anyways, that is completely separate of what I'm going to talk about today. And I guess without further ado, let's just jump right into it today, because I want to talk about my morning routine. I post all the time about healthy habits and lifestyle, and in my opinion, the day-by-day efforts and consistencies of life is ultimately what makes up our life, right? It's and putting yourself first is a huge piece of, in my opinion, achieving not only, I don't think success is the right word, but it's clarity and fulfillment and bringing things into your life that you want to bring, right? And ultimately putting your best self out there. So before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're the first one to see my videos here on the Tube of the U on my channel. The more you watch these videos, the longer you watch them, the more it helps me out. The YouTube algorithm will reward us together, and we can share this message. But let's dive into my morning routine. Now, I can't put together a 1.5 hour long Instagram reel to show you my full morning routine. Sometimes in those videos I leave things out. Sometimes I go into pretty hardcore depth with a lot of cuts, but today I want to bring to you what makes me feel my best. And I want to preface this with the idea that you don't have to have the same routine as me to feel good throughout your day. If your routine is 20 minutes, if it's 30 minutes, whatever it is that makes you feel good, the important thing is that you have something that kind of primes you for your day. And I'll give you some examples of things that I've tried, of things that you can try, or that might help you with your day-to-day life. And I think the other key of morning routines is to put yourself in a position where you just try one thing each and every single day. Not every single day. Maybe you try one thing each week. And if it works, great. If it sticks, great. If you start to get the hang of that, let's add one more thing, right? And before I suggest things, I'll just kind of run through what my morning routine looks like. So first thing I do when I wake up, it's usually around 4:30 a.m. I don't look at my phone. I do what's called kind of a power hour, and I will not bring my phone into that first 60 minutes because, in my opinion, the first thing that we look at is going to kind of determine what our thought process and path is for the day. If the first thing I do is check my email when I wake up, well, I'm firstly putting everything that's in my email before me. A lot of times we'll probably get sparked down a different path. Oh, I should answer this email, this one. Oh, these people are so needy, or this, right? It sparks all of these different thought pathways instead of putting ourselves first. So I don't look at my phone. Well, let me take that back. I do look at my phone, but it's already on Do Not Disturb. The first thing I do is go to YouTube and I click on the first video that's motivational. And I'll just feed my brain with motivational content while I brush my teeth, and then I get in my cold shower and that's still playing. So I won't look at my phone. I just put that on to kind of get my brain thinking and turning and get the wheels spinning. From there, I will get into a cold shower. I always take 3-minute cold showers as soon as I get up. I think it is the single-handed best way to change your life. I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but I fully and wholeheartedly believe that, because there's not a time that I get in that shower where I don't want to turn that I'm not scared almost to turn the shower on. That anticipation of like, oh my gosh, here we go. Like I get in the shower before I turn the shower head on, right? And then as soon as I turn it on, I'm like, yep, here we go, right? That anticipation that comes over me. But then you breathe through it, you get used to it, and it's this just overwhelming sense of mood boost and waking up. And honestly, that would be the one thing I would suggest trying. I know it sucks. The way I started was literally 10 seconds, turn it hot. 10 seconds, turn it hot. Almost like doing reps in a gym. So from there, I'll take my cold shower. And by the way, the cold shower has many more benefits, but think about this. But if you're going to go work out in the morning, a cold shower is better than a hot shower because your body is going to get so cold that it's naturally going to work a little harder to warm up. And then you go to the gym and your body has already kicked into a thermogenic state to increase that body heat. So after my cold shower, I'll get dressed and obviously I've already brushed my teeth and done the hygiene stuff, put the deodorant on, and then I go downstairs. I do not make my coffee. I delay my coffee intake 60 to 90 minutes. I shouldn't say coffee intake, my caffeine intake. Now, there's a lot of studies on this, and based on your adrenal system, and basically what is more effective is to get salt in your body as soon as you wake up. So actually, I missed this piece. I'll have my salt water or electrolyte mix in with my water. As soon as I wake up, I'll chug 20 ounces of water, or if I just have my gallon next to me, I'll pour my electrolytes into a huge cup and down it. So I use Element right now, LMNT. I'm not affiliated with them, but that's just an electrolyte powder that I really like to use. So from there, I go downstairs, and on that topic of electrolytes, that is going to spark the creative impulses, I shouldn't say creative impulses, the electric wiring of our brain to our muscles, everything to start those pathways turning more than the coffee. Your adrenal system, which your coffee impacts, is not going to turn on for that 60 to 90 minutes. It also, if you put caffeine as soon as you wake up, that is going to hinder your natural melatonin cycles and your circadian rhythm, right? So that's a whole nother podcast for another time, but if it's something you want to try, delay it and see how you don't crash later on in the day. Try salt. I recommend Celtic salt if you're not going to get an electrolyte powder. And then trying to delay that coffee intake, or the caffeine. I keep saying coffee. So from there, I'll go, that's the first thing after YouTube, whatever. Before I get in the shower, I'm drinking that. Then I go downstairs after everything's done, and I open my books. And what I mean by that is I have a book, I have a journal, I have a composition notebook. Now, I start with my journal. I write my intention for the day. I write, and that could be something like today was find urgency through your patience. That was my intention for today. And I'll make this up. This is just kind of the things that come to my mind. And, that to me, that is the same idea as working slow to be fast, and slowing down in the moment. Like be slow, be fast to the moment and slow through the moment. So that's just a little intention that I like to use here and there. And if you have the same one multiple days, that's okay. Then I track my sleep. I go into my Aura app or my Whoop app, and I'll track my sleep, HRV, time, and kind of efficiency. Then I will plan out my activity. What am I going to do today for myself? Usually it looks something like this: full body strength training or push-pull legs, some kind of strength training, and whatever my run workout is for the day. For instance, today was a full body strength training and a 5-mile run. I wrote that down. Next thing, there's a self-care section. I write everything that I'm going to do to take care of myself. So the first thing is reading in the Daily Stoic. That's one of my books that I'll get to. Then I say my I ams, my I believes, and I wills. Those are also in the composition notebook. I'll get there. Then I say something about the love list. I'll always write something that I love. It's kind of like gratitude, but something more like, or maybe it's a person. I try to integrate that just for my relationships and understanding that I can bring love to the world and the people that are around me, and just kind of giving them time of my day when I start the day. Then I'll write in there, read 10 pages. And these are all kind of things that I do in the morning, but they are there nonetheless. Then I move over to the section where I write the time. By this time, it's usually about 5:10 a.m.-ish, 5:05. And I'll write anything that comes to my mind. A lot of it is positive, just saying how I'm feeling, how I slept last night, what's on my mind. Just write anything that comes to mind. Then I will go down to the gratitude section. I will write 3 things that I'm grateful. And again, these are all things that you can take and you can ultimately, like, if gratitude is the only thing you take from that, or the intention, like, gratitude to me is one of my favorite things that I do, because it gets your mind in this mindset of abundance and of gratitude, obviously, of bringing things in and leading your day to start your day with positivity. Your brain is automatically looking for things. Oh, wow, I really am grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. And I used to hear this stuff and be like, oh, that's, it's kind of woo-woo, and everybody talks about it, but I can't seem to buy into it. And then I started doing it, and I'm like, wow, this stuff works, right? So, and again, it takes practice, but then from there, and I circle back to this journal later on at night, but maybe I'll do a podcast on my nighttime wind down routine. From there, I go into reading my Daily Stoic. A Daily Stoic is a book. It's a daily meditation, quote unquote, based on philosophy. And I read, it's literally broken down 365 days. I read whatever day it is of the day, and I highlight it, and I kind of get some takeaways. And whatever my takeaway is from that one page, it's literally just one page every day, I'll write it in that little thoughts section in my journal. Close the journal, close my Daily Stoic. Then I will open my composition notebook. I call this my I ams and my I believes. I'll write my mission statement up at the top. I do this every single morning. And then I do what I call the 2-minute I am drill, the 2-minute drill. I'll set a timer for 2 minutes, and I will write every I am affirmation that I can. I am abundant. I am worthy. I am loving. I am accepting. I am prepared. I am present. Whatever comes to my mind. Literally that morning, it gets my brain thinking, hey, I am all of these things, right? And it's reinforcing that positivity and getting your brain to subconsciously think about these things for you. So once that 2 minutes is up, close my composition notebook. I come back to that notebook again at night, and I write my goals before I go to bed to get my brain thinking about it when I'm asleep. But from there, I go to the last thing I do is open my book, whatever book I'm reading at the time. I'm reading The Secret right now. It's a great book. It's all about the law of attraction, something I'm super into. And I'll read 10 pages, or some days more, some days it's never less, but it's always 10 pages, sometimes more. I have this weird thing where I have to get to like a stopping point, a page break or something, or a new chapter. And then by that time, it's been an hour and a half. I make my coffee, make my pre-workout, and I head to the gym. Now, that is kind of a wrap up of my full morning and that power hour. I usually don't get on my phone really, maybe sometimes before I go into the gym, but I kind of consider my workout part of my routine. So theoretically, it's like a 3.5, 4 hour routine, but there are things that sometimes I just have to check my phone for, right? It's part of life. And this sounds long-winded. It sounds like a lot. For some of you, it might sound scary. But I want to reiterate that these are all just things that I do and I want to put out to you, because if there's one thing that you could take away, maybe you can apply it to your life and that changes the course of your day, then awesome. Like, that is my intention of this podcast and telling you kind of how I do things and why I do them, right? And I think there's a lot of psychology that goes behind being in all of these different kind of situations and preparing the mind for that day, right? And to it's really training the subconscious to look for these things and approach the day with gratitude and positivity, and to subconsciously be looking for love and bliss and positivity, right? So again, it's some of it does sound woo-woo, but I've had to come to grips with myself and the fact that you kind of just have to let go of that mentality and just see if it works. If there's something you've been like, oh, I want to maybe try that, like literally just grab a piece of paper and maybe do the I am statements. Do as many as you can for, I don't know, what did I say? 2 minutes, my 2-minute drill. Or maybe it's the Daily Stoic book, or, again, whatever works for you. And nowhere in there did I mention that I was eating. I don't eat until after my workout. I'm not fasting anymore, but I always do some kind of fasted activity in the morning just because I believe in doing that. I could go on another podcast on that as well, or check out my recent YouTube video on 3 things that I've changed my mind about. But again, I think the overall takeaway for someone that maybe doesn't have structure around their routine, or the first thing they do, like, to me, the biggest takeaway from this podcast is focus on yourself first, and don't check your phone as soon as you wake up. Put yourself first and prioritize that intentional act of putting your phone away for the first 30 minutes even. You just try it and see how your day starts to change. See how your day starts to unwind from a mindset of, wow, I am not focused on other people as soon as I wake up. I'm focused on myself. Put something good in your brain. Feed your brain the good that is to be had in the world, right? Put on your favorite song. I don't know. I'm sure we've all had the mornings where you get in the bathroom and you throw on some good music and you're vibing away, and that day is just kind of takes that course, right? You got to find what works for you. And for me, that's listening to some kind of affirmational thing. I'll literally type in like positive affirmations, or I'll type in like I was big into Tony Robbins for a while. There's a guy named Eddie Pinero that does these really cool life analogies and just like expands on them and super peaceful. I'll do podcasts. Lewis Howes. I like Lewis Howes, Mel Robbins. I like, still some Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, all of these people, and try to learn something in the first 20 minutes of the day. I could go on and on and on about this. This is something I'm super passionate about. When I was little, when I say I was little, my aunt used to send me quotes. So I was probably 10 years old, and I just got infatuated with quotes. So from then, we would always send quotes back and forth. And somehow this turned into me wanting to study people's, quote unquote, successful people's quotes. And like I would hear the quote and then I would study these people's lives. And that led me down this path of studying their habits and their routines. And I started implementing things here and there. And I'm like, oh, I don't really like that. Well, don't do it, right? And then I would discover something else. And long story short, I've come to this routine, and I'm pretty freaking consistent on it if I do say so. And it's what I really genuinely attribute my mental clarity and productivity and awareness, self-awareness of my thoughts in every day too. Something I haven't been as good about is meditating. I usually meditate 10 minutes on an app called Headspace. It's just a guided meditation. That's something that profoundly changed my life, and I've kind of been able to practice getting to a meditative state because of that, because I did it for so long. But that is something, admittedly, that I want to get back more consistent in my life. And that's something I would do in the sauna. I haven't had access to a sauna, but I could literally do that on the floor anywhere I'm at. So that's just an excuse that I'm using. But again, something that I think is super beneficial. That app is called Headspace. Again, no affiliation. No affiliation to my journal. I use a journal called Papier, Papier. It is the wellness journal. And you can even see the presets of how that goes. I'm thinking about doing a full morning routine again. I do have a video. It's one of my most popular videos, like as a vlog on my YouTube channel that you could find to see it all kind of in action as well. But that was a while. I will do, that was actually when I was going on walks at 4 a.m. on the beach in Newport Beach. And, our routines progress and they change. I think it's important to know that. And, it's also important to know that your routine can be short and you don't have to have one, but I just find that it helps me immensely in so many different ways to have this structure in the morning for myself before taking myself out into the world, right? And I think that for especially you all working in an office or something, like, you cannot present your best self forward without taking care of yourself first, right? And we shouldn't, you've got to be a little selfish here and there to say, I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to take care of myself so that I can treat these people the way that I want to treat them. Or if they're going to treat me poorly, I've taken the time today to be with myself, to know I can handle what negativity might come. So that is all I have for you on this podcast. If there's more suggestions you want, maybe I'll do a part 2 on this podcast. Again, and this is something that I'll integrate to my Inside Influence podcast when I have people on the podcast that I really want to dive into like their day in life and see what different routines work for different people, because I think that's valuable for you to hear, that you might say, oh, this person does that. I really like that idea, and I think that could be fun to try, right? And again, if something works, great, run with it. If it doesn't work, also great. Rambled on for about an hour and a half. It's only been 20 minutes, but again, that is all I have. I'll say it one more time. That is all I have. I appreciate you watching. Again, if you took something away, please share this with somebody that you might think would benefit. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell icon so you're the first one to see my videos. Oh, I've got to end with a random question. Generate a random question. Boom. What's something you never seem to get tired of doing? That's a really, really good question. I would say my morning routine. I don't get tired of preparing myself for the day and going through this consistent action, because I know that I'm going to feel better after I do it each and every single day. So that was not planned, by the way. So that was all I have for you. I will see you next time. I appreciate you. Have an awesome freaking day, and don't forget to smile.